Good morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. That should be when this thing goes live, so I hope you are all having a wonderful day with your family. Thank you for taking the time to come back and check out the channel on such a wonderful day to spend with your family. First things first, you know about this channel, we love drinking a fine whiskey and talking about airplanes. So tonight we have a Redbreast 14-year Irish whiskey. It is wonderful. If you've never tried it, I highly recommend it. It is good. It's very smooth. Good, good flavor. Very good. As far as the airplane goes, I've been taking it out and running it, letting it get up to temp, things of that nature, circulating the oil, just letting everything get warm, cool back down. The last time I tried to do it, I went to start it and fuel just sprayed everywhere, all over the engine. What I came to find out the problem was this little fuel filter right here. I know when I told you guys about the fuel system and how I designed it and stuff, I talked about the details of this filter. One thing I didn't realize is this filter is serviceable. And if you get a hold of these little flat pieces right here on this collar, you can spin it out and change the filter element. Well, that's not really ideal in a flight environment since I have no way to wire tie this and keep it from coming loose. You know, obviously we're dealing with a fuel injected engine, so if we lose fuel pressure, we're a glider, and I'm not into being a glider. Life's too short to have anything without a motor. So I think what I'm gonna do with that is I'll either delete it completely, redo this hose right here and just run it straight up to this little coupler, or I may try to find a one-piece disposable inline filter that has the AN fittings on it, and I'll just replace it. That way we don't have to worry about it. We still got our big filter down here. No issues with it. As you can see, we've got the pumps and the filter and everything mounted up and bolted into the airplane now, so that's good. But yeah, that was not good. I tightened it back up and got it where I could run it and all that, but we'll definitely be addressing that. Another thing, if you remember from the previous videos, was since I put the coolant reservoir, the overflow reservoir on there, I couldn't fit my hat on it anymore. It was hitting this backspace. So when trying to figure out where to relocate that thing or what to do with it, the easiest option was lower it down as low as I could get it and then cut a hole in this, right? So we just cut a little L piece out. The Dremel did some work. Thought it turned out pretty good. It fits well up there. I know it wasn't fully on when I started the video, so my apologies for that, but trust me, it's got nearly an inch all the way around. So one thing I'm gonna work on over the holiday here in the next day or so is getting this glassed back in with some new fiberglass, and that should fix that issue. So one small thing at a time, right? Set that back up there. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. Not really. One thing I did notice when I've been taking it out and running it was I was trying to get my multifunction tachometer to work right, to get it dialed in, because it's got some weird math equation that you have to do to put a setting in there to change it to 3 cylinders. It's just not working. I don't know if there's too much electrical interference, you know, from basically here, yeah, right about here back is the entire layout of the electronics that control basically a Geo Metro. Now there's a lot of stuff that's been depinned and wires taken out of it, but you've got basically the whole electrical system plus an ECU sitting up there, laid out next to each other with all the wires wire tied up nice and neat. But I think that may be causing some interference issues with our TAC signal cable, because it's just jumping all over the place no matter what I do to it. All the other functions are working good. The GPS is picking up good on it, which I kind of hate to take it out because I drilled a hole up there top behind the freaking compass. So, I'll have to deal with that later, I guess, or just leave the GPS antenna in there. But yeah, so I may just go back to a boat, like an outboard style TAC that has a dedicated 3-cylinder setting, That's what was in the airplane. That's what was working. I tried to get fancy, and it's not working. Basically, just based on how weird the engine is, I guess. But other than that, everything in the cockpit's going on good. I haven't put a lot of time into it since the last video. I did get a check ride date, so we are scheduled to go up with the DPE on December 19th, and hopefully come back with a nice little temporary airman certificate. It's less than 30 days away. I'm super nervous about it, but you know, hey, we'll get through it. I've been studying my ass off, and we just take it one day at a time. Review, try to find deficiencies and correct them when I do, and just keep building. So that's good. I did get a letter in the mail from the FAA. Letters from the FAA are usually not good, but this one is a bit of good news. In the EAA Home Builder's Handbook, it has checkoff steps that you can do while you're building an airplane, and one of the first ones it recommends is reserving an N number, which on September 12th they issued ours. Now I tried to get fancy with it and you know, find Papa 40 something or another or something like that. It's just not out there. I guess there's that many P-40 wannabes around that they took all the P-40 usable N numbers. So after the better part of a morning trying to get one of those, I gave up and I told them, hey, just give me anything that ends in Charlie Yankee. Since that's my initials, at least I'll remember that part. So I'd like to introduce everybody to November 261, Charlie Yankee. We have that number reserved until September 12th of next year. Hopefully by that time, it'll be an official N number. It's not now, but it is reserved in our name for this airplane. So, you know, to get the actual number, you have to have it, get it inspected and all that to get the actual registration. So at least we got something done. That gives you an idea of how long some of the processes take. I did that right after I bought the airplane, so April, and it took them till September to get it out to me. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on with it here. I know we had talked previously about how I was going to do the batteries and how I was going to lay it out with some diodes and switches and stuff. And I've actually got a like proof of concept practical demonstration set up over here on the workbench that I'm going to show you guys in just a little bit. Basically, it's, you know, the purpose is to keep it from backfeeding the engine's stuff, because it's kind of obvious that I already have some electrical interference possibilities. So to mitigate that as much as possible, I want to isolate the engine battery from the avionics battery. And I'll show you how we're doing all that over there, or how I plan to do it. It seems to work. But yeah, if you guys want some nerdy electrical stuff, we'll go do that next. Alright y'all, hopefully I can explain this in a way that it makes sense. This is a very simplified version, just for demonstration purposes. Obviously this is not how it's going to be in the airplane. I'm using way too small a wire. I just rigged up something to make it work so we can do proof of concept. You know, my whole goal with this schematic that I told y'all about in a couple videos ago, the idea is to have a 2-battery system for redundancy, also keeping avionics engine stuff separate, but still allowing both batteries to be charged by one alternator, which is the big issue here. So the way I'm going to accomplish that is with a blocking diode, one of these little guys. It's been so long since I ordered them, I don't remember what the specifics are of them, but they were like the highest I could get. So I shouldn't have to worry about popping one or anything like that. So what I've got here is my battery, obviously a contactor, switch. I've got the multimeter rigged up on to measure amps right now, because as you know, blocking diodes do not stop voltage, right? They stop flow, so amperage. In fact, let me see if I can, let me swap these back right here, and I'll use this little diode that I made up here to give an example on how you can still see. Actually, no, I won't do that because I've got it. Oh no, it fell out, so screw it. We'll do that. Put that on the positive, right? Put that on the negative. Set that up there where you can see it. Oh, it's on AC. That won't work. There we go. DC volts, our favorite. So we'll put it right there. Actually, I'm just going to do that. Hope you can read it. There. Right, so put it that way, 13 volts. Put it that way, 13 volts. So voltage will go through a blocking diode both ways. What it will not do is transfer amperage in both directions. And we can demonstrate that by swapping the amps over here. Got it. Move our positive to our unfused circuit on the multimeter. Let's take this hot wire here, wrap it around the hot lead. Because what we're doing with amperage, right, is measuring the flow through it. How much flow is going through the system. Turn our switch on. Got our contact. And then I want to put it to this fuel pump here to show a load. Peaks up pretty high on initial startup, and then it's showing 2 amps. Yeah, 2.15 while the pump's running. There is a diode in this wire, just like this one I showed you, right? I built it into this lead, which is what's going to be between the batteries. So if we reverse, that ain't good. Direct short circuit. I'm gonna be like that TikTok guy that's always shocking himself. Let's flip this bad boy around, shall we? Put it like that. And then I'll just clamp this guy in here like so to make a connection so my switch still works. We'll just lay that right there for connection, so that's working right. Let me check the app here. Just there it goes. It reset. I knew when it short circuited, the BMS probably went into battery protection. Yeah, so it's working now. So we got our connection on. Remember, the wire's reversed now, so our diode is backwards. When we touch this, we shouldn't do anything. Just like that. Remember, we had voltage going through on both sides. We don't have shit for amps going through. So that explains what we're dealing with, because obviously it was connected. There's a good connection there. Let's swap it back over here. Go to volts DC, turn it back on. Just to prove that we've got it coming out. That's going to be positive. Right. Yeah. So that proves that there's 12 volts coming out of the contactor, but the diode is keeping our amperage from flowing through. And like I said, what that's going to do is with the AC power that comes out of the alternator, well, actually no, DC comes out, but anyways, it's going to allow electricity to go through, right? It's going to come into this battery, flow into that one, but it will not let the current flow backwards into the first battery, eliminating the interference issues that we're worried about. So with that, that's how it works. It's obviously going to be a lot prettier in the airplane. But yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed that this is the answer that we're looking for to keep us some good clean power going to our expensive avionics. We won't talk about how much those actually cost. But yeah, that's what we're doing here with the electrical system. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. That's about all I got for this one. I'm sorry there wasn't much to it, but like I said, life's been crazy getting ready for this check ride. We will definitely hit the ground running as soon as this is over, and maybe I do a little bit of flying for fun without somebody sitting next to me critiquing everything. But yeah, like I said, today's Thanksgiving. Take the time to reflect on what you have. Be thankful. Tell somebody you love them, and I will catch you all on the next one. See ya.